Here's what we know. A lot of leaders are values driven and some leaders are vision driven. And both are good. In fact, my assessment of thousands of leaders now is that most pastors and leaders are actually values driven people. And that's a good thing. I think it's a God created thing. They're driven by values. But then a few people are God gifted visionaries. But what if you aren't God gifted visionary? Or what if you are, but you want to develop more? How do you become what we call a visioneer? Not someone who can just deliver a good talk on a Vision Sunday if you have one, but someone who can craft, cast and catalyze vision, galvanize buy-in by the power of God, and lead the vision seasons. How do you develop as that kind of leader? Well, I want to give you 3 tools today that help you develop as a visioneer. The first one is what you'll see coming up on the screen now. And this is the Visioneer's tool for crafting vision. This is ripped straight from the book of Nehemiah. I read Nehemiah and I saw this in it. And you see 4 things there. Number 1 is holy discontent. Number 2 is mission conviction. Number 3 is vision clarity. Number 4 is story. Let me walk you through how you pull this together. Nehemiah turns up in Nehemiah chapter 1 and his heart is broken. And he is moved with what we would call a holy discontent. Thank you, Pastor Bill Hybels, is where I learned that from. Holy discontent. Holy discontent is what we need to do something about. What is it that you need to do something about? And help your leaders draw that out of them with this tool and this process. What do they need to do something about? What's the holy discontent they've got to move the needle on? Number 2, when we get to Nehemiah chapter 2 and mission conviction and vision clarity, in Nehemiah chapter 2, Nehemiah has brought this before God. He's got a holy conviction. He's tested it before the king and seen that there's favor on it. He's walked through the city to see what needs to be done. Now he's rallied and gathered a small group of people. And what he does in Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 17 and 18, he basically says, you see the trouble we're in, a holy discontent. And then he talks to them and he says, let's rebuild the wall, mission conviction. Mission conviction is the action we're going to take. Holy discontent, what we're going to do about something about. Mission conviction, what we're going to do about it. And then he says, so that the people might not be destitute. It's not the best vision statement you've ever heard, right? But it is a vision statement. It's a picture of the future, creating passion in the present. Holy discontent, mission conviction, and vision clarity. And then what you want to do after you've got that picture of the future, creating passion in the present, what you want to do is wrap it all in a story, which is what Nehemiah does. A story that tells the journey of holy discontent, mission conviction, vision clarity in a person or in a project, some way that rallies people's hearts, etc., etc. That's the first tool. Second tool is the vision planner. This is a critical piece. A lot of churches start the year strong. Boom, Vision Sunday, here we go. But by the middle of the year, it's sort of waning, and by September, you're not hearing about it. The vision planner helps us not do that. It's a guide for us, and you'll see as it comes up on the screen that you've got the crafting and the casting, you've got the comms there, you've got all those pieces. What are we going to do to catalyze? And then it's talking about the rollout, the rhythms of the year, the vision seasons, all of that. That's number 2. You can have a look through that planner. I'm sure we've got it there for you to be able to download. And then number 3 is leading the vision seasons. This is huge. It's huge. This is where a vision dies and lives. This is where it rises or falls or stalls. And the masterclass of this continues in the book of Nehemiah. Let me explain how it works. So in the start is that graphic comes up on the screen, there's dream, right? There's dream, and Nehemiah dreams as he gets to the end of chapter 1. He starts to dream of what the God-appointed future might look like for God's people in the city of Jerusalem. And then, of course, after that, he goes, he pulls it all together, and then he has communication. Then he catalyzes it, and this is huge. He gathers them in chapter 2. In Nehemiah chapter 3, and you see this on the Vision Seasons graphic there. In Nehemiah chapter 3, what he does, they move into rise and build mode, and everybody's in. and everybody's chipping in, and it's a great time. They've done in 26 days or thereabouts what hasn't happened for 100 years. They all know God's on the move. But then opposition comes, then things happen, and we hit Nehemiah chapter 4, and everyone's starting to ask, can this be done? And they're saying, we don't think it can. There's opposition, they're a little bit tired physically, there's a whole lot of things going on. And in the age we live in, here's what tends to happen. There are two responses in this moment. There's one that's pastoral, which hears the people are tired, that they're discouraged, that their lives are at risk in this case. And the pastoral response is to go, let's just take some of this off you. And the leadership response is the one we get from Nehemiah. Nehemiah reads the moment, he reads it, and you've got to be able to discern, is this a pastoral moment or a leadership moment? He sees it as a leadership moment, so what's he do? He doesn't take any heat off. He says, hey, first of all, number one, you need to reset. Remember who our God is. Remember why we're here. And then he renews them, he reminds them what God's up to and who they're fighting for and all of that. And then number three, rallies their heart. And then God moves. And instead of taking heat off them, instead of quitting and going home, instead of going, let's do a little bit less, a little bit slower, he puts a tool and a weapon in their hand and they move forward. And this is one of the lessons of leading the vision seasons, because it's great, the start, the dream is wonderful, catalyzing is wonderful, rise and build is wonderful, but then you have to be able to lead the vision seasons. And most of vision, if you're a visionary leader, is lived what I call in the grind and in the gap. In the grind is where we're just working, we're just moving. It's not spectacular, we're just doing the work. And we know that as we keep working, God will be moving, even if we can't see it. But beyond the grind is the harder part yet, where many people quit, and that's called in the gap, which is where we were in Nehemiah chapter 4. And in the gap, here's what we have. People have made a start. In this case, they've done in 26 days what no one had done in 100 years. God had moved, opened doors, brought a leader, made provision, and they still want to quit. And in the gap, we're beyond starting where the initial enthusiasm is gone, and you cannot see the end and the future that's going to be. And in that space, it comes down to the leader. The visionary leader's job in the gap is to do what Nehemiah did and to do what we just talked about. This is the moment where you reset people. This is the moment where you renew the vision. This is the moment you rally them with, this is what we need to do next. The vision season, it's powerful to understand the vision season you're in, and then as a leader, you've got to answer the question, what does next need? I hope that's helpful to you. I hope that's helpful for developing your leaders in your environment. God bless you. We'll see you next time.